To get fast around the Dutch Grand Prix circuit, you definitely want to watch this top 1% hot lap. Let's go on board with Rullatorn to see how it's done. Start with DRS early on in the lap, cross the line and head to turn 1. Braking before the 50-meter board, shortly after you pass it, turn into the corner and aim for the inside curb without touching it. You want to take a long and rounded apex, third gear, then as you get to the midpoint of the corner, you should have fully released the brake and be on the power. Start to unwind the steering as you reach full power, spot the exit curve and use the first section of it to make the most of track usage. Hold it tight to the left of the circuit as you pass through the slight bend before turn 2, placing a wheel on top of the entry curve to open up the corner. Turn in and once you're in the center of the circuit, brake lightly if needed or shift down to 5th gear and use the engine braking. Slightly lift off the throttle as you reach the inside, use the curve if you're brave enough, brake as soon as the curb on the left begins to disappear or even as soon as the black barrier on the right starts to fill the screen, and we'll only be on full force quickly as we want to release off the brakes to help with rotation. Third gear as you point towards the inside curb, taking an early apex but never riding it. After you leave the apex, be fully off the brakes, then as soon as you start to go up the hill, accelerate, using the camber of the corner to not only help us slow down initially, but also gain grip and carry more speed on exit. Like the first corner, keep turning until you see the exit curb, then unwind the steering whilst achieving full power, using the curb itself to gain more lap time. Run through the twisty section of the circuit, minimize track distance, but before we get to turn 7, I want to challenge you to subscribe to the channel by using your chin. I bet you can't. Then moves to the left to enter turn 7 whilst holding 7th gear. Turn into the corner on full power as soon as you pass the grey patch on the left, then either once central or just before you get close to the inside of the circuit, shift down to 6th gear, lift off the throttle for a split second and maybe consider dabbing the brakes if needed. Instantly back on the throttle, get as close as you can to the grass without touching it. The inside curb will appear, in which you will take as a reference to start exiting the corner. Once again, look ahead for the exit and point the car towards the curb, this time getting as close as you can, but you don't need to mount it. Follow the contour of the track on the left, brushing the curb just before the 50-meter board start turning into the corner. Lift off the throttle and shift down to 6th gear to make use of engine braking, touching the brakes if needed, and back on the power all before the apex. You can either cut the inside curb or get as close as possible to it, then let the car wash wide, riding the first section of the exit curb, but never more, otherwise you'll bottom out the car and lose control. Brake for turn 9 at 60 meters, turn in and into 4th gear, off the brakes before the apex, then touching the inside curb briefly at the same time as you get back on the power. Use the throttle to drive towards the outside, using all of the track on exit, up to the white line and spotting the grey patch on the left as a reference for when to reach full throttle. If you don't do this, you're missing out on a lot of lap time. Move over to the right on exit, all the way to track limits. Turn 4th gear, off the brakes at the slightly late apex and immediately on the power. Straighten your wheel, full throttle, aim for the outside, ride the curb and DRS open. Relax on the straight and be ready for one last sector. We want to brake as soon as we pass the start of the entry curb, riding it to open up the racing line, shifting down the gears and then turn in as soon as the curb drops away. 3rd gear, off the brakes and cut the inside. Then only after you've left the inside curb, back on the throttle just a little bit, but then as the nose of the car is in line with the curve for turn 12, brake with about half force and look for an early apex. Touch the inside curb initially, at which point you'll be off the brakes, let the car roll as you come away from the inside slightly, then on the power. As soon as you reach the exit curb, full throttle, then all we have is one final complex to tackle. Just before the entry curb, turn into the corner, brake lightly and down to 5th gear, off the brakes as you reach the inside curb, power out but be as smooth as possible on the throttle, make use of the first section of the exit curb again, DRS open, then for the final time, keep the car tight and low to the inside, minimizing track distance, exit the banking in the middle of the circuit, carry on down the straight and across the line to settle 1 minute 7.960, and that's how you get into the top 100 drivers in the world. The setup used for this video is on screen now, and if you want to tailor this for the race situation, all you need to do is decrease the downforce to try and make overtaking easier, increase the differential by a click or two to have more control of your rotation, leave the suspension geometry as it is to improve lap time, soften the suspension slightly for consistency but keep the ride height the same to maintain the best grip, leave the brake pressure as it is but increase the brake bias to make sure you're able to cope a lot better in the race, and with the tyres, start from the values shown on your screen and either increase or lower the pressures for practice to make sure that you find your perfect window for the tyre temperatures. Make sure you subscribe for our next hot lap, like the video if you've improved, comment below how much you've improved by. Thank you very much to Rullatorn for completing this hot lap for us. Good luck and let's race.